Welcome back to the U Sports Report, and now we're about to take you out of bounds. We've talked about NBA, NHL, and even college and high school level sports, so now there's nothing left to cover really but baseball.
Baseball. We got to get to the baseball diamond.
We do, and starting off right away is the New York Yankees taking on Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this was a really good game going on out in the Bronx.
The Bronx Bombers taking on the Rays. On Friday's game, we saw Jacoby Ellsbury steal home to help the Yankees win against Tampa Bay. And in this game, not so fortunate.
Yeah, Michael Pineda got tagged up for 5 runs here in the top of the first inning. As you see, just a blast from the Rays.
I think I read somewhere this is one of the first times in MLB history a pitcher has done this poorly. Thanks, Michael.
Still in the top of the first, you have a runner on second. The second home run of the inning, this one going to left field, and it's not looking good for Joe Girardi and his Yankees.
It is not, unfortunately. However, the Yankees did get 1 point on the board in this day's game, just not enough to beat the Tampa Bay Rays.
And here's A-Rod at the dish. Runner on second, he hits a rope down the left field line, and that's going to bounce off the wall. It's good enough to score the Yankees' only run of the day. A-Rod, RBI double.
A-Rod's coming up on retirement in the next couple of years, or so he said. So it'll be interesting to see what the Yankees are able to do without him. We're without Derek Jeter now, and we're not looking so hot on or off the diamond, so it's going to be an interesting remainder of the season.
Yeah, I mean, this Yankees team has just totally changed over. You were talking about Derek Jeter. They don't have, what's his name, Jorge Posada anymore. They don't have Mariano Rivera anymore. You know, that core group of Yankees that were there to carry the franchise. It's now on the shoulders of the younger guys. Guys like Brett Gardner and people like that, Michael Pineda. Can they get it done? I don't know.
I'll be interested to see, but now we've got Tyler's Twins taking on the Washington Nationals and doing a very good job of defending themselves.
Yeah, this one going on in the nation's capital as Bryce Harper comes in for a pinch hit home run in the 9th. That's going to send us to extra innings, and you know what that means. You paid for 9 innings, but you're going to get the rest of it for free. Hashtag free baseball.
Hashtag better than $2 tickets.
This was literally Bryce Harper's only at-bat of the afternoon. He was literally replaced right after this by Heisey, who we'll see in just a moment. So, like I said, moving along into extra innings. The Nationals at the plate, bottom of the 15th, as the pitcher is going to walk the Nationals hitter, and he's going to take second. The throw down, not in time. So the Nationals playing small ball. And here, backup pitcher dropping the bunt and getting that one to even up. We're moving on to the 16th inning.
You heard that right, fans. 16 innings.
Yeah, this game took 5 hours and 56 minutes to complete, which is the longest regular season game in Washington Nationals history.
Hopefully nobody had any plans during that chunk of time, because the 16-inning game for over 5 hours.
And this is going to do it right here. Heisey, as I said, he replaced the pinch-hitting Bryce Harper there in the 9th. He finishes off the Twins. 5-6 is the final score in that one, as that was just a marathon game. It was back and forth. The Twins were up early. Nationals able to come back and tie it with that Bryce Harper single shot in the 9th inning, seemingly keeping them alive, you know, really.
I was watching some of the highlights from this game before, and just looking at your Twins, I'm impressed because, you know, they're not necessarily known for big wins, but in this game, their defense was really strong. They had some really good plays, and their intelligence is starting to boost, so the remainder of the season could be a potential good thing for them.
Yeah, the good thing about the MLB is that it's a 162-game
Yeah,
season.
we talked about this. Yeah, it's way too long.
We were talking about that. So, you know, you can kind of throw away the first couple 3-4 weeks of the MLB season. It's not really going to mean much, but what's really going to mean a whole lot is whenever you start getting into the latter months of the summer. I'm talking about late June. Of course, all of July is very pivotal, and August, the biggest time of the year when everybody's racing in for those playoff spots. August, September is when every game matters. So I think the Twins will be all right going forward, but that one hurt.
Yeah,
that one hurt.
That's a painful loss in 16 innings, but a really close loss. So shout out to the Twins for that game. Up next, the LA Dodgers taking on our Colorado Rockies.
Of course, the Rockies are the current Major League affiliate for our Isotopes here in Albuquerque. The Dodgers, the former affiliate
Yes.
for the Isotopes.
So this is an interesting pair-up for Albuquerque Isotopes fans.
As you see Chase Utley coming in to score there off the Puig double. Yasiel Puig, he's just an animal with the bat. He's an animal in the field. He's a little bit of an animal on the base paths, but we won't get into his reckless base path running. Not in this one, as he did real well today. The Dodgers are moving on up here, as that's going to clear the bases. That was a base-clearing triple. We're now in the top of the ninth, 10-10, and that's a rip going through to right field. And I just want to take a second and appreciate the beauty of Coors Field, one of the absolute best ballparks in the major leagues with the Rocky Mountains in the background, but not to take away from Chase Utley, who had that big hit right there.
I couldn't agree with you more. And what a perfect match for the Albuquerque Isotopes, having mountains in the background, being such a close team. This has been a great game for the Colorado Rockies. Unfortunately, not great enough. 12-10, the Dodgers took that win.
Yeah, and you saw Trevor Story getting struck out with a man on second. Could have potentially tied the game there with a home run. Trevor Story's been a huge story here in this beginning of this season for the Rockies. Just absolutely tearing every opposing pitcher up. Unfortunately, not there with 2 outs and a runner on second.
Yeah, Trevor Story has made quite a name for himself, especially here in Albuquerque, having played for the Isotopes. He's a big name to start remembering, folks, so don't forget to write that one down.
Yeah, and speaking of big names, we're going to move on to the NBA. Seth Curry, the younger brother of the great Stephen Curry, he's reportedly declining his option with the Sacramento Kings. He will be a restricted free agent. I think that's a good move for Seth. The Kings are to put it nicely, a dysfunctional organization. I mean, you have 2 personalities in the locker room they're basically big children in DeMarcus Cousins and Rajon Rondo. George Karl, no longer the coach there in Sacramento. I think this is a good move by Seth to jump off of a burning ship.
I wonder if Steph Curry had anything to do with this decision, maybe telling his little brother, let's move forward and get somewhere bigger and better. You've got a lot of potential. Yeah,
a lot of potential. I mean, he's definitely not the player that Steph is, or was, for that matter. Seth will never be that good. But I do think Seth does have a lot of heart. He can definitely get out there. He's a scrapper. He can play ball. Watched him play at Duke there for a few years, and then now he's kind of bounced around the NBA, gone to a few D-League teams, but let's see if somebody signs him. That's the thing that I'm worried about. I'm thinking he may not even get signed by an NBA team.
That would be an unfortunate loss for him, but maybe not the worst thing in his career. There's better things for him to do, and things just have a way of working out.
Yeah, and speaking of unfortunate losses, as a whole for the NBA playoffs, Steph Curry has a grade 1 MCL sprain in his right knee. He is ruled out for at least 2 weeks, then he'll be reevaluated. So that's a big hit for the Golden State Warriors, losing their best player, the MVP, the reigning MVP, we should say. It's going to be a big hit. And then another Southern California team, the Los Angeles Clippers. Chris Paul broke his 3rd metacarpal last night. And for those of you wondering what's that, it's that little bone here in your hand that connects the middle finger to the wrist. So he broke something deep down in there. They're looking at possibly 2 to 3 weeks for Chris Paul as well. And whenever that Chris Paul's not in that Clippers offense, that offense is very, very stagnant, as the Clippers had been shooting about 65% off of shots made from Chris Paul passes this postseason.
It'll be an interesting thing to see how they do without him. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks his hand heals up quick, and Steph, we hope your knee heals up quick as well. But there's some big news in the NFL too. Yeah. I read recently the Browns are not favored to win any of their 2016 games. Unfortunately for them, no matter who they get in this draft, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised that they're not favored in any wins and to win any games. But at the same time, it is the Cleveland Browns. To put it nicely, I think their organization is a dumpster fire.
It is. It's a hot mess. If there ever was one in the NFL, I think the Cleveland Browns have taken that. And maybe they're a little bit proud of it because they haven't really done much to change it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're taking some steps. They have Hugh Jackson in there now as the quarterback whisperer, as their new head coach. He was able to do some real good stuff out there in Oakland for a year when he had Jason Campbell. Some people are probably sitting at home saying, who exactly? Jason Campbell was able to win 8 games under Hugh Jackson with the Raiders. And also they have RG3. He's a little bit injury prone, a lot injury prone, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Cleveland Browns are taking some steps to fix it. They're building the team.
They are the quarterback graveyard, but like you said, they've got the quarterback whisperer. Maybe we'll see some wins from them, but maybe not in 2016. I guess we'll find out as the season gets closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about who they draft, too. Brandon Browner rejoined the Seattle Seahawks. Big things for them, and that's an important move on his behalf.
It's a big move not only for him, but for the team as a whole. This reunites the Legion of Boom that we've seen back there in Seattle, that Seattle secondary a few years ago. Of course, they were broken up. Everybody went to chase their money. But this will reunite the Legion of Boom. Let's see if Seattle's able to get that vaunting secondary back there again.
Speaking of chasing money, Josh Norman recently signed with the Redskins a $75 million deal with $50 million of that guaranteed to him. You text me about this over the weekend, that this was maybe a huge mistake on the Redskins' behalf.
Well, I mean, of course, obviously, the Redskins fans are going to be super excited about it. Personally, I think Josh Norman is an average cornerback. Carolina was able to get loads of pressure up the middle, resulting in quarterbacks throwing under duress all the time. And over there in that secondary in Carolina, he had some help. He's not going to have this kind of help in Washington. I think he's going to get exposed, and we'll see in the first 3 weeks as he's going to be taking on Odell Beckham, Dez Bryant. We're going to see that matchup twice a year on each side. So that's going to be very good. And also the thing that I like personally is that the Redskins are now on the hook for $50 million for an average cornerback. There's no way they can cut this guy. There's no way they can trade this guy. They're paying him $15 per season.
It's just, that's a lot of money. I cannot imagine having a job where I sign a contract and I'm guaranteed $50 million no matter what happens in the upcoming seasons.
Yeah,
that's a big deal for him.
The craziest thing to me is that this puts the Redskins over the cap. So who are they going to cut? They no longer have RG3. Alfred Morris is gone to Dallas. Do you really think Deshaun Jackson's going to take a pay cut? Really? And they still have to sign all their draftees. So good luck out there in Washington. I know people talk trash about Jerry Jones all the time. I'll say this. I would take Jerry Jones over Daniel Snyder as my owner any day of the week.
Fair enough. That has been the Out of Bounds segment for you guys, New Mexico. We're coming up with the Players Club and a big, bright idea where we're going to tell you who we think our team should draft and a few other things. So stay tuned.